right, good morning, everyone. We'll get started. It's 9 o'clock. This is a regular court, Commissioners Court meeting for Monday, February 24th. If you'll please stand, we'll have a prayer followed by the pledge.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for a beautiful sunshine day you've given us. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to enjoy the place that we live. And Lord, we ask your blessings upon our nation, our state, our county. Lord, we pray that we will be unified, truly be one nation under God, and that we'll look up to you for our wisdom and our strength each and every day. We ask your blessings on this meeting, Lord, that you give us the wisdom and the knowledge that we need to carry out the business of this day. It's in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. It is 9:03. We'll call a meeting to order. We have a full court this morning. Everyone's present. We'll go down our departmental reports this morning. And there are some reports in your packet as well. County agent report, aging center, none. County attorney.
Nothing new as far as I go.
Okay. Auditor. Clerk. Ricky's with us this morning.
Good morning. Just to let you know, I did turn in a paper for John Schuster to sign also for the elections for May. The school board is going to have an election. We are not going to do it. The school's going to do it. So it's a contract for the lease of the equipment. Okay. They've had their attorneys go over it, and so there's a few little changes in there, but it's still pretty much the same amount for the lease and everything like that. They will turn in the check probably next week for the lease of the equipment. Also to let you know, last week we had a district case. We had a trial in town, and it's kind of a long day, but the gentleman had 5 counts of smuggling and a count of evading, and the juror took 5 minutes to find him guilty, and 15 minutes in excess. 21 years.
Total.
For 6 counts. I was working.
Okay. Community center. Nothing there really. Sergio's done a little trim work inside and stuff. Cleaned up some corners and stuff. Trimmed out some things. Like I told you the other day, the city thinks the sewer line is an issue between our new connection east back towards the funeral home and post office. So we got another connection in between there before that, and it's not having any problems. But so they're working on that. Constable this morning. Detention center. On board? Good.
So, EDP for 20 is...
Speak up. Speak up.
The ADP for this 20 is 422, and current population is 412.
All right. Anybody have any questions or anything for the board this morning? Thank you, sir. You may be excused if you want to leave. EMS.
Don't have a whole lot to report other than last week we hired another part-timer, so that's good. We're going to bring somebody else on. They're going to start in March, so that'll bring us up to the 7 full-timers and that process up to 3 part-timers. So other than that, it's been business as normal.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
Grant updates. Switchbrook.
I normally only attend the first meeting in the month So I didn't put anything in the packet. But last week, a week before, at the last minute, I turned in a grant for the law enforcement terrorism protection. That is to cover the software beginning in 26 through 27 for the tower project. The judge was in the meeting on Friday to do scoring. This morning he said we were rated 5 out of 7, and then it has to go to the state Homeland Security to be reviewed. The OLS grant, I'll be working on it this week and next week. I want to finish, my deadline was the 1st, but with all that's been going on, I'm a little behind. The deadline to have it in is the 13th, but I want to have it in by the 6th, 7th, at the very latest. I've sent information out to all the departments to make sure they give me all their updated information so that we know exactly what we're applying for on personnel, supplies, equipment, etc. Friday afternoon, I had a meeting with Stone Garden, Border Patrol Sector, and Border Patrol here to discuss the CONOPS plan for the next year's Stone Garden grant. That is the one that starts in March 26th through February 27th. And I don't think I have anything else. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Woodward. Engine healthcare. For me this week, we have a mandatory meeting tomorrow in Petula to talk about the trunk radio system and everything stuff. Somebody has to go, and our handheld radios are ready to be picked up. Visited with the sheriff the other day about this. The COG received grant money to purchase and upgrade radios. And, the sheriff's department's getting some, and the constable will get one. But it's handheld radios only. We have to go to a radio and pick them up. So maybe make a trip to a radio. But I have a COG meeting Wednesday. Any Valley, we have a splash pad meeting Wednesday as well. I'll be out Friday for a funeral. But other than that, that's about it for the office for me. But working on ran into two folks compliment, say thank you for the work done on Standard Lane, Standard foliage, trimming the trees and stuff. They did say that looked very nice. Thank you for that. So those road bridge guys got a compliment there for them. Q has back to the community center. Q does have a lot of parts to start working on the generator and stuff, getting it equipped. The gas meter came for the gas hookup, the wrong union. So that's in the union back. Alfred was over there working the other day. So got everything but the wrong, they sent me the wrong union, so they're going to send it back and everything. But and then city was a no on paving the street. We talked about splitting which by sharing one over that Belton Street. They were a no. So once the weather warms back up, Vegas said they would come back and finish there by the cemetery and the little patch jobs that we had. They wanted the weather to get consistently over 70 degrees. And I said, not a problem, they're good. JP this morning? Library? You have anything for us this morning to talk with Russ? Sergio said he was going to work over there today.
Yes, we've been,
Speak up.
yes, we've been.
Speak up for my friends up here.
Our heater went out again.
Oh,
One
okay.
of the units is not working. I think they were gonna go check on, actually, we're still waiting for them to go check on it.
Okay.
But it's been on and off. They fix one thing and then the other unit breaks down, so I don't know, what we need to do and see what's going on with those units. Other than that, our meetings and everything are good. The restrooms worked out awesome with the back, the bigger room, having meetings in the back and having the restrooms for them. Yes, for them. Other than that, we've been, our VITA program started, and it's doing great. We've been having a lot of appointments. We go by appointments, and the VITA is the free tax return for the community. They go file their taxes, and there's no charge. We've had a lot of people going, and we have a lot of, and it goes all the way through April 15th. Other than that, I think that's it, and then I think I have something on the agenda this.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Truth. Road and Bridge, we had their report last month. Sheriff, Cody.
Good morning. Not a whole lot to report. Everything is very, very quiet. I don't know if it's because of Trump or if it's because we prosecuted so hard. But either way, it's a good thing. Since January 1st, we've only had one smuggling encounter. And since January 1st, we've only apprehended 3 illegal aliens. So that's a good thing. Checking Border Patrol stats so far for the month, I've only apprehended 93. So that tells me that it's very, very quiet along the southern border. Last week I went to a deal in San Antonio on liability in law enforcement. Very eye-opening. We're very blessed. We haven't been sued as much as other places. I'm going to reach out to PAC and see if they can come here and give us, what I attend was basically on a national level. I'm going to reach out to PAC and see if they can come talk to us on our liability and see if we can bring another couple of counties in so we can come be on the same page as far as a Texas type deal. I'll probably see if I can schedule that for the June, July time frame. We're supposed to be here in July to help me do it. So the security on the courthouse and other buildings within the county. See if we can get that going. Other than that, we've still got 7 in jail, 4 more local, waiting to ship 3 of them out to TDC. Any questions? Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Sheriff. Tax assessor this morning. Treasurer, you do have a treasury report there. You get a second to go through it, but the treasury report from Gutierrez. You also got a January report in there from the clerk's office. Sorry for that. Give me a second to look through it as well. Well, started a little bit before now. That'll take care of for reports this morning. We'll move into item 4 this morning, is our deliberate, consider action on the following items. 4A this morning is open and review and accept bids for 2 Nighthawk-BTX series imagers with BTX standard accessories kit and a rolling waterproof case. I have those this morning. This was received in my office to me via email on February the 4th. This is the only one that we received. The bids for 2 of the units that were discussed, the detectors, shipping included and everything, for a grand total of $99,060. And this could be funds used through Stone Garden, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
There's a total of 99,600 that's been approved to cover that.
Okay. It's the only one received, so entertain a motion to accept this bid from Viking Detection for $99,060 total. So moved by Commissioner Dotson. Second by Commissioner Ward. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So that'll take care of item 4A. Four B this morning is discuss and approve the purchase of 4x8 metal sign cabinet, wall mount LED illumination, polycarbonate face with digital vinyl print, in the amount of $4,500 for the Kinney County Library. Ms. Rivas, this has to do with this is, we talked about this about a month or so ago, I think.
Yes.
And this would be the sign similar to this style
Something similar to that.
on the
And they would go on the wall like.
west face,
Yes.
the front, the west facing wall.
Yes, sir.
Have you talked to them? Is the price still good? Is it 30 days from?
Yes, I did talk to them, yes, I did ask them, and they said it's still the same.
All right, this proposal then estimates $4,500 with a deposit required of half of the deposit up front, $2,250. So I'll entertain any questions. Is this budget?
It is not budgeted, but it is not budgeted. But I wanted to see where we were at, or I needed to.
How much money can you move? About $3,000 around within your budget, and you use about $1,500 out of building maintenance. Everybody okay with that?
will the sign be?
It's gonna be on the wall right behind the pole where the flags at. On that.
And the purpose of the sign would be,
Well, because now it's Kinney County Library, Community Resource Center. And we have a lot of people looking for the building, and they're all looking, they look for markers, and they go into the library, they look into the JP, and they go into the library. And I thought we had a sign right in the front.
we have one on the corner that says Kinney County Library.
On the corner, towards, on the road.
There's not that much traffic on the street, so.
All right, so discussion, good discussion. Do we want to proceed with it, or do we not want to do it at this time?
I would table it till we have a little time to consider it a little more seriously about where it's located. We don't have a second. Well, it's going to be for the sign for this.
Motion just this one.
Yeah, I'm going to table it.
Okay. Okay. Second, all right. Move to table the item for further discussion down the road. At this time, motion made by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Dotson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item B is tabled. C this morning is discuss and adopt a resolution of updated CJIS security policy for Kinney County. As you know, CJIS is very particular item of business, and it all deals with the security and stuff through the sheriff's office and so forth. I'd be more than happy to read all this to you, but it's got lots of acronyms in it, and has to do with just confidentiality, security, the policies, and so forth like that. And this is via CJIS themselves are updating some stuff in their regulations and so forth. So that's why it's coming down through to us. But I'll be more than happy to read this if you want me to.
Down to fourth grade level.
Oh, I don't know if I can do that by reading it. That's slow.
What is the purpose of
But CJIS is the Criminal Justice Information System, and CJIS is the Criminal Justice Information Security Policy. And the policy establishes a comprehensive framework of security requirements, including personal security, physical security, network protection, encryption, audit controls to safeguard the CJIS, the Criminal Justice Information. And it's mandatory for all criminal justice agencies and entities handling CJIS, including the court, to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of sensitive criminal justice data. The court's committed to implementing these security measures that align with the CJIS security policy to prevent unauthorized access, security risk, and protect sensitive information. The adoption of this policy requires procedural updates, employee training, technology enhancement, continuous monitoring to ensure compliance. The court's IT department, what they're obligated to do is multi-factor authentication for remote access into the CJIS, the criminal system, and the encryption of the transit and at rest. Here's where it gets into FIPS 140-2 certified. Lady, role-based access control, physical security measures, continuous monitoring, logging in and reporting to access to the system. All personnel that have access to this should complete a mandatory training. Background checks are required. The security officer was supposed to establish CJIS security officer position responsible for overseeing compliance, conducting audits, and ensuring ongoing adherence to the CJIS security policy. The court shall review and update internal policies annually to reflect the revisions in CJIS security issued by FBI. So that kind of gives a breakdown of it for you. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution to update CJIS security policy for Kinney County. So moved by Commissioner Ferrick, seconded by Commissioner Tavo. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. This morning is discuss and approve electronic voting system memorandum of agreement between Kinney County and Brackett ISD. I'll let you, if you want to address this a little bit, or you spoke about it a little bit a while ago.
Yeah, that's going to be for the elections in May. You know, usually we have the city elections and the school. And this May, the city did not have, they just had one person sign up, and they had one incumbent, so they're not having an election. On the school, there was two positions that were up. One was Tolly Welch and one was Lupe Rodriguez. And both of those were signed up, and they had two other people sign up. One was Edwina Perez and Jesse Trosses Jr. So they're the only ones that's going to have an election. They're going to supply the workers. They're going to take care of everything, do all the paperwork, do everything. All we're going to do is lease them the equipment, and once we get the contract back to them to present back to the school board this next meeting, they will cut us the check for the $2,000, which is the lease agreement.
Is this the same lease agreement?
Yes, the same one that we've used in the past and everything. They've updated a little bit, done a little bit with the changes with their attorneys. A little bit of wording in there, but it's the same.
Can you look it over now? I got a question on the back, on the attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Express boat terminal. Well, is this just a sample, or is this actually our where does it say $2,000?
It might be 2,200, something like that. It was in the contract that they had.
This page here, what? Yeah, that's what it was thinking. That would be about $2,900. That's.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Bless you.
Yes, you're right. It'll be 29.
Okay.
And they're going to end up taking two of the DS200s, which is the big machine, because they use one for early voting and one for election day, and then one express vote, which is the one that is for handicap. And anybody can use it, but it's more for hearing impaired and
okay. And then they're hosting this all in their facility?
Actually, I did get them the use of Slater Hall. Talked to people for Slater Hall. It's going to be done at Slater Hall, so.
Okay.
For the whole time. Early voting, yeah, early voting for the school and the city and all that usually runs a week and a half. And then their election day is on Saturdays.
All right. Any further questions? All right, entertain a motion for 4D this morning. So moved by Commissioner Tavo, second by Commissioner Ward. This item will be the memorandum of agreement between Kinney County and Brackett ISD for the use of the voting machines for their upcoming school board election. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, item E this morning is open proposals received for plan development for the Office of the Governor's Cybersecurity Grant. The contractor will be responsible for developing the cybersecurity plan for Kinney County, as well as policies and procedures that will be implemented once the plan is approved by commissioners. All right. There's yours. This is mine. Everybody gets a score sheet this morning. Commissioner Fair, Commissioner Tavo, Commissioner Dotson, Commissioner Wood. Alright. The opening of the proposals is about 9:32 this morning. And I'll turn it over to Ms. Hobbs.
So it looks like we received one proposal for land developer. It was received, I think, February the 14th at 1:48 p.m.
Okay.
It is from Amanda Frere. She does have her SAM clearance included in here, which is what we requested that we needed because of the amount of this contract.
Okay.
We have worked with Ms. Frere before on our LED plan. She completed that for us last year. She's aware of all the requirements that have to be included in the plan with the cybersecurity framework in the state of Texas, and all the things that we need to add to our plan. It's based on the NIST cybersecurity framework as well.
Alright, you'll score it right quick. Yeah. Abstain, okay. You'll just write that on there. Sign it, please. Alright, so that'll take care of E this morning is opening the proposals. We received one from Amanda Fair for that one. Scored it and gave those to Ms. Hobbs. Item F this morning is award a contract for plan development to create the action plan policy procedures for cybersecurity SLCGP objective, governance and planning grant through the Office of the Governor and give county judge the authority to negotiate contract with the contractor if needed. So we'll award that contract to Amanda Fair and get the authority for me to negotiate if negotiations can be made. Entertain a motion for that. So moved by Commissioner Dotson, seconded by Commissioner Tavo. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Noting Commissioner Fair abstains, so motion carried 4-0. G this morning. Alright, G is discuss and approve the completion, signing, and upload of required documents for the CJIS Cyber Hygiene Vulnerability Scan. This process is one of the eligibility requirements of the state and local cybersecurity grant program objective 1 governance and planning. Requirement documents included for CJIS assessment service request form CGP and acceptance letter.
Okay, so I have those. So this is the acceptance letter, and it needs your signature on here. And then I'll fill it out and have insert the date of your signature in.
Okay. This all has to do with cybersecurity.
This is the cybersecurity grant that the plan developer is for.
Okay.
And one of the eligibility requirements is that we go through these cybersecurity plan, scans with them. That's part of their requirements.
Okay.
And then the other form is this Appendix A, and this is what I'm gonna have to sit down and fill out with Chad,
Okay.
because we have to list all the websites that would need to be scanned.
Oh, okay.
So this one I just need you to sign on page 2. And once he and I get all of that filled out, then we'll upload it to them. All right?
All right, entertain a motion to approve that one. Another piece of the cybersecurity grant. So moved by Commissioner Tabo. Second by Commissioner Dodson. Any further discussion or questions on that one? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. All right.
So I just wanted to give you a little update on, while I'm here, on the generator grant. We've met with the city of Bracketville and Fort Clark Mudd, and they are in favor of moving forward with the grant. They've agreed to their portions, the match, and everything that's required with it. Actually, both of them are very appreciative, very grateful that we are moving forward with this grant, because they really are in need of the generators. So it's going to be a good thing for all of our entities to be able to get those in place. So our next step on that is we're still waiting for the contract to come from TDM. And once we get that and get that executed, then we can start moving forward with going out for bid, getting an engineer, all the things that we have to do with our grant contracts. And then I wanted to let you know that we had our first baseball meeting with our committee, and just kind of explained and described exactly what's going to happen with that and how we're going to move forward, what the plans are. So we met with Mr. Freer, the judge, Mark Pettis, David Lopez. Mr. Rivas is on our committee as well, easy, but he was driving a bus for, I think, the basketball game. And Michael Aguirre, the mayor, he was there as well. So we have another meeting scheduled in March, and we'll just keep moving forward. We're waiting on the contract with Parks and Wildlife. That has not come yet. But once we get all of that in place, then we'll really be able to start moving forward on that. The other thing we've done recently is we submitted another cybersecurity grant. If you recall, there's 4 parts to the cybersecurity grants. They have 4 objectives that we can apply for grants on. So we applied for objective 2, which is assessment and evaluation. And Mr. Potts gave us some information on something that would be very useful for the county, for all of our they're called endpoints. That would be all of our computers, our cell phones, anything like that, and it would have this the ability to see what's coming in to those endpoints. And so it was close to $200,000 is what we applied for that one. And I think that's pretty much it for right now.
One thing we talked about in the baseball meeting was drafting, get a letter to send out and ask for support and whatnot to try to make up. We're about $1 million short there in addressing and not only just the absentee land ownership that we got here, but other entities out there and everything, to send a letter and asking them and ranking them as a bronze contributor, silver, or gold, and then the values of each of those and stuff, and send those letters out. So we'll get those out here pretty quick. and stuff, because, any portion that we can narrow that down to that $1 million, I mean, it's just gonna be help for us and help for the community and stuff.
Right. Alma's right now working on sending a application into one of the foundations.
Okay.
And so, hopefully we could get, some foundation money as well, and have them involved.
Yes.
They're on our list.
We're just waiting on the letter, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And-
I finished it and sent it to Alma
Yeah.
and Kinney last
Yeah.
week. I finished,
Both the railroads.
yeah.
Well, that was another thing we covered in our meeting. We talked about just all the different ways and people that we could contact to try. But if you think of somebody that in particular that you think would be someone we need to send it to, please let us know, and we'd be glad to include them.
Your business.
Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, any little bit helps, that's right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on this morning, item H is approve and ratify a memorandum of understanding between Middle Rio Grande Developmental Council and Kinney County regarding handheld radios for Kinney County Sheriff's Department. Talked a little bit about that. I believe there's 12 radios for the sheriff's office and 1 radio for the constable. So item H and I are both dealing with those. They're wanting these. I'll have a COG meeting Wednesday in Uvalde, so I'll take these with me there and turn these in to them. But again, it's just an MOU that we're going to be responsible for them. We'll keep inventory of them, who has them and stuff for. Kind of puts in like that 4th grade level we talk about a lot, but eventually in about 2 to 3 more years, think of it as like there's say frequencies, there's 4 frequencies out there, and from frequency 3 and 4, 1 and 2 are going to stay active, but frequencies 3 and 4 basically in a couple of years, they're going to push a button and every radio that's in that 3 and 4 frequency is going to be outdated and will be basically, the radio won't be turned off, but the frequency will be killed. So the upgrade we're getting is basically 6,000 series radios and up. The radios we're going to receive are 8,000 series radios. Thus, they cost about $8,200 a piece. That's the series name and the cost of them. But we'll get those, and then 6,000 series can be updated. So if one of them, if the deputies, the big thing is they cannot have 2 handheld radios. They can only have 1 radio assigned to them handhelds. So they have to turn in a radio to get a radio. And then if this is a 6,000 series, and another deputy down the list, say there's 15 deputies and there's only 12 of them, they have an older radio, then they can take the 6,000, we can give it to the COG. They would get it updated for us, and it would then be into those top 2 frequencies as well. So that's how it's going to work. But they got like 320 radios, I believe, for the COG. And then they kind of this first round is for law enforcement, and the next round will be for EMS and so forth like that. But they kind of went through and said, hey, the bigger cities, the bigger departments, they didn't get all their radios they wanted. He said, well, we went through and kind of divvied them out accordingly to where the smaller departments, the smaller sheriff's office or police departments could get the bulk of their radios as well. That's the second round. EMS and fire department basically in the second wave of radios. And these are handheld radios. So I entertain a motion to approve H and I at the same time. We're both the same MOU. One of them's just dealing with the sheriff's office and one of them's dealing with the constable. So moved by Commissioner Farrett. Second by Commissioner Matavo. We'll do those together. This is approved H and I this morning. Any further discussion on those? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried unanimously. And that was to approve H and I. You good there? Okay.
Judge?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you a question about that? Over the last 3 years, the handheld radios, Motorola's that we purchased have been a 6,000 series. Will the COG update those and
Yes.
pay the cost? So you don't need to request that in grant, what we got.
Let me see what, let me find out, I'll ask that on Wednesday, then we'll clarify that. Cause like, if there's like, we end up with saying with like 6,000 series radios that have been replaced, and we're done, we have 5, not to call them extra radios, but we have 5 radios, then we may say, hey, can we go ahead and upgrade them, give them out through our fire department and our EMS or something, and stuff, and so forth like that.
Because I could put that into an equipment requirement in the grant I'm working on right now for OLS, because I know in OLS we've got purchased $65,000 worth of those radios.
Okay.
So, okay.
Sheriff, I need you to sign this one.
Yeah.
And then we'll find Constable here. Letter J this morning, certification of revenue in accordance with the LGC 11.0108, Texas Association of Counties, $9,211.78 in sheriff's automobile claim. Texas Association of Counties, a check for $5,025.60 on an auto claim in the sheriff's department, and another claim of $1,488.75 sheriff auto claim as well. So the entertaining motion is I think it's going to be for insurance claims. Is she here today? Cheryl, are you on the phone call?
Yes, Judge.
Item J this morning.
Yeah, it's insurance claims. Any revenue that comes in that's not been already accounted for has to be certified in this manner and accepted by the court.
Okay, so this is an action item. Alright, so I entertain a motion to accept these claims, automobile claims through TAC. So moved by Commissioner Ward. Second by Commissioner Dotson. Any further questions or concerns here? All those in favor say aye. 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 Motion carried unanimously. Alright. Item K this morning is going to discuss and approve the authorization of the county judge to sign application for credit for NITA for purchase of IT hardware. This is a vendor that we're using to get a lot of our network and stuff going and updates and so forth. But this is just a hardware, IT hardware, but this is just an application to have credit with them, net 30 days payment. Credit amount will be up to $20,000. I'll entertain a motion to approve this application for credit. Well, yeah, but it's a vendor that he's going to use, is what it's. Any questions on K this morning? So moved by Commissioner Montalvo. Second by Commissioner Ferrick. Any discussion on this credit application? Credit application only to pick up a vendor for IT hardware. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Alright, item L this morning is discuss and consider the location of temporary holding cells in the Peterson building, interior or exterior option, meet and discuss with the architect. You want to lead in on some of that, or Sheriff Cole?
It's gonna be here 10.
Okay,
Or we can
we move it, we'll just
merge that with the other item.
Alright, we'll roll it on. M is discussion, scheduling, and reduction of OLS staffing due to potential cuts in OLS funding for fiscal year 2026. Discussion item there, move it to executive session, deals with personnel. The item N this morning is discussion of county auditor's request for salary increase for assistance and possibility of removing Kinney County Sheriff's Office grant writer on all grant access and information. Sheriff, this is one you put on there. You want to move it to executive session? Sheriff Cole.
Sure.
Your item N this morning, discussion of county auditor's request for salary increase for assistance and possibly removing the sheriff's grant writer grant access and information. We'll move that to executive session. Okay. Item N, go to executive. Item O. Again, item O is going to be kind of associated with item L, is discussion of pros and cons of building a county jail versus holding cells and inmate housing contracts with other county jails. So we'll loop those two together, unless you want to start them right now because he's here. Morning, Gar.
Good morning, how are you all?
Very good. We'll move items M and N to executive session. Item L and O. Sheriff, if you want to come up. Guard, if you want to come up.
Hello, everybody.
Morning. Item L this morning was discuss and consider the location of temporary holding cells at the Peterson building, interior or exterior, and meet and discuss with the architect. And then kind of along the same lines would be the pros and cons of county jail versus holding facilities. So these are two discussion items only this morning. So Jay, I want to sit up here, grab your chair, come up here.
Yes. I've got a couple of extra copies in the agents to see that.
That's Westbrook, what I like, on Brent. Alright. Item L this morning, the location of temporary holding cells at the Peterson building, interior, exterior, meet and discuss with the architect. So we'll turn it over to you.
Hello everybody, I am Naman Garg, I'm the architect who's working on the Peterson building. Thank you for having me. One of the key discussions that we need to kind of address on here is I've got 4 items on my list here. So the holding cells within the Peterson building, they're kind of posing us a few limitations. Not necessarily as far as like if we need to do them or not, but more about like how and whys. What are the pros and cons of those? So question 1 is the holding cells, will they be, and I'm just going to tell you like the 4 items, and then we'll try to go give you quickly the pros and cons of that. So the cells, the holding cells, should they be within the perimeter of the Peterson building, or should they be outside? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is the time of planning phase. That would be like if we are going to plan for the holding cells now or within the near future. Number 3 on that question is number of cells. Will that be for 5 people or less, or will that be for more than 5 people? And question number 4 is the fire sprinkler system. Do we want it or no? So most of the questions that are there are kind of intertwined because of the nature of the holding cells, because once we kind of have few people who do not have the liberty of taking their own decisions to kind of go outside the cell, then we have to provide certain amount of safety features for them. So going to question number 1, having it inside or outside of the Peterson building. If we have them inside, Then of course it's a different planning. It kind of intertwines with if we have 5 cells, if we have cells for 5 people or less, we can get away with not having the required fire sprinkler system. If we have more than 5 people within those cells, the IBC will require for the building to be sprinkled. That was question number 3. The question number 4, fire sprinkler system. So I'm going to go back to question number 3, is that even if we decide that we have 5 or less people, the fire sprinkler system can still be installed. It is, but of course there's a cost to that, which could be between $50,000 up till, I've been told, about 150. Of course, the real numbers will be depending on if we have enough pressure within the pipeline as to not have the pump in there. So the pump itself can cost from $50,000 to $80,000. And then, of course, there's like the piping that needs to be within the building, and of course, the annual maintenance and the different parts of the maintenance. Question number 2 is the time of planning. So the jail cell commission does require for all the plans to go through an approval process. So if we go ahead and design the building, and design the holding cells either inside or outside, they need to see the whole process of how we kind of came through that. They want to look at the locations or any of the red flags that they are looking at. From my understanding, it's about a 4-step process. And again, we send them drawings, they will come back. We'll send them drawings, they will come back, and then with their comments on it. Of course, and then the first question kind of ties everything to it, is like if we have them on the inside or the outside. We're talking about the perimeter of the building, we're talking about the location, we're talking about the different fire exits, and we had a meeting with the judge, with the commissioner, with the sheriff, and the jailer some time ago, and we went through various points on the advantages and the disadvantages and the locations as well. So that would kind of conclude my 4 main points that we kind of need to understand on it. The main being the time of planning and the fire sprinkler system. And that kind of it intertwines on the location and the number of people that we are hoping for. Thank you. If there's any questions, yes, please.
Also, on the interior, what's the interior? Is there a cost difference?
That's a good question. We got, did we get a formal proposal on that?
I haven't seen one, but from what he was talking.
Okay, so we did talk to one of the people that the county was involved with, and we went through the full site location and our floor plan, and they kind of gave us a general idea. So these people, they design modular jails, which means that they will come up with like, please anybody here, who have had a conversation with them, please let me know if feel free to correct me, edit, or add to that. But they make modular jail cells where, the concrete slab can be poured on the ground, and they will just come and place those cells in place. Now, it is not just the cells that can be outside of the building. We need a person to kind of have an observation, and also a restroom for that person who's observing those people within the cells. The cost for before I tell you the cost, the cells that are made there are not just for the holding cells, because if we are doing the holding cells over here, they are 48 hours or less. So that is a very less restrictions. From my understanding, the cells that the people that we talked to, that would be like prison level cells, which are much higher on the security level and on the amenities and everything. And 6 cells total, 2 females and 4 males, plus the observation area for a personnel and his restroom. The verbal cost that I was given was between $1 million and $1.6 million for about 1,500 square foot of that building. That would include the exterior to be like kind of like a stone finish. That cost may or may not include the concrete that is to be poured, because that can be poured either by a third party, which is not the people who are providing us the cells, or it can be a part of their contract where they come in and pour in the foundation. One of the big things on that final budget would have been is that the building that comes in, they have their own mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire installed within the systems, but the main outside of that building, they need to be kind of hooked up. So like if there's like sewer, it needs to be connected to the sewer system, and if once there's water, it needs to be connected. But within that space, everything will be engineered and installed by them.
Jeff, did you have something? Get in front of you if you what the reason I wanted to, I think if we focused in on probably one aspect, if we can. I know it's all domino effect.
Yes, sir.
Every one of these things we're talking about hinge on the other. And so this is just an idea, and that's why I was respectful of the sheriff if he had something he wanted to share before I did. But we have to, number one, with respect to the cells being located inside, it's going to take a lot of time to get that approved by the jail commission. We've got I guess you'd say kind of we're under the gun as far as getting the 911 system installed in the building. And of course that's going to require that the blueprints are finished so we can advertise for bid all the remaining projects to complete the building. And so if we, I know it's hard to just focus in on just one item, but I think we need to determine, do we want to go I guess you'd say, with the amount of time that it would take to pursue placing them inside, or would we be better served to complete the building and with the, I guess you'd say, with the idea of placing the temporary holding cells, which could be permanent as well, depends on which way we want to go with how they're built. Do we want to approach it from that standpoint? If we put them outside, we could go ahead and finish the building fairly rapidly. And I'm not in any way trying to campaign one way or another, but just so everybody knows what we're working with, then we can come up with a decision, and the sheriff will probably have, an idea on that as well. But from the standpoint of expense, if we place them inside, then there's going to be, and I think, you mentioned it earlier, that the sprinkler system that would be required, other security items that would have to be dealt with as far as how the building was built to accommodate the temporary holding cells inside. And again, it just is for the idea of all of us knowing what's going on, and then not to campaign. I'm not for any particular avenue other than to say this is what we're up against. And so what I can see is it's multifaceted, because if like I think Sheriff, you mentioned 7 of our inmates are being basically kept in other places. Is that right?
We've got 7 in Medina County.
So 7 in Medina. And if we approached it, and I'm throwing ideas out the door, if we based our needs as far as a jail is concerned on the average number of prisoners, I know that's kind of hard to do, but if we were to do that and we were to decide, okay, that's as many as we want to accommodate now or in the near future, and maybe you might want to allow as many as 10. Would we be, I guess you'd say, more efficient, and it would be less expensive to place those particular cells outside the building and have its own unit, because we've been basically dealing with the idea, well, do we want to build a jail that would handle 40 prisoners or more, or less? And if we're really not ready to pull the trigger on a jail of that size, then does it make it more reasonable then to back down and maybe consolidate a little bit our jail effort in a smaller way on the premises of the Peterson building? And so I'm throwing these, I've been going over and over in my mind for quite some time, what would be the best decision for us. And then we also have, not to throw too much into the mix, but we have the opportunity perhaps to develop a female jail. And because there is a shortage of jails that are able to handle females, so we have considered, would we be wise to do that in the area of our detention center, or perhaps very close to it, in order to share the same services, food preparation, laundry, and other items, with perhaps this new facility to handle female prisoners. And so, just kind of reviewing everything we've talked about for the last year as potential ideas, but I think it's kind of, we're getting down to the wire where we need to make a decision based on what would service us the best now for our needs, and then potentially what we might do in the near future in the way of handling other prisoners. Sheriff, if any of this is kind of, I guess you'd say, of concern to you about the location in or out, or if we go for the more permanent cells, or...
One of the things that concerns me is, if we do the exterior, the cost. I mean, granted, it's self-sufficient, everything's wired in, everything, when it gets here, it's ready to go. That's a plus. The cost, that kind of concerns me. Would require additional personnel to manage that, because that person would have to be out there watching them, would have to require somebody extra to book in. So that's an additional cost. Then we get the liability portion of it. Anything happens to an inmate back there, we're liable. Right now, it's costing us roughly $163,000 a year on what we're basing on right now with 7 inmates in Medina County. They're liable. We end up paying medical bills, but we're not liable for anything that happens at that jail. So, trying to balance it out, is it more economical for us to continue to house out of county with the few prisoners we have, or pull the trigger on something big and try to contain it here local? The flip side of that coin, at the peak of Operation Lone Star, Kinney County was responsible for almost 800 people in Frisco unit, Lopez unit, Segovia unit. Right now we have 47 in those 3 units. It's winding down. If that goes away, anything we catch that would traditionally go to Operation Lone Star is going to fall back on the county. So that's going to be a cog in that wheel. So where do we go? Go ahead and pull the trigger and spend 1.6. Or do we spend considerably less, put it inside the jail, and wait to see what happens next? I don't know. It's just one thing we're just going to have to sit back and think about. Probably going to look at executive session, we really, really need to discuss that. Because like you said, we're working on a very fine timeline. We need to figure this out. And I would say probably within the next 48 hours.
Right. If we continue to renovate it and just do the admin portion of it and the community side portion of it, finish the admin offices on the security side and all that so forth, and then do everything except the holding units, so we leave this as a holding unit facility for another year or so until
We could probably get by with holding, if this is a holding unit for a year or 2 years.
to where we can say, okay,
As long as we keep maintenance on it.
right.
But now, fire suppression system, personally, I would go ahead and install it either way, whether we install it outside or inside. That's just, to me, that's just a safety factor. Part of that concern is because when we built the workforce station, we had to put extra pumps because the city didn't have enough pressure to handle. So, extra cost, extra maintenance, and et cetera, et cetera.
And potentially, in the water pressure issue is, very concerning. What the detention center has is their sprinkler system is designed for the fire department to activate with an engine. You tie into the fire hydrant that's there with the truck, and then you pressure up on their system. So without the truck being there, they have what we describe full fire suppression system. And the other thing about that is you cannot put so much pressure on it, so you have to be real careful. And we were schooled early on that 80 pounds was max, which is more than most cities have in the way of municipal pressure. And because if not, then you blow the system up inside the building, and very costly. So if we were to do that as well here, it would probably be a similar system where it has to be powered by an engine.
But the plus side, we're closer to the water tanks here. It's not uphill like up at Fort Worth. It's not as far out of town as the detention center. So there's some pluses there. Plus the inside of the building is mostly rocks. So we've got a few pluses on that.
I would like to echo that point on having the sprinkler system be, since this is like an emergency operations center, this will be operated in case of either the natural calamities or the man-made calamities. So having that sprinkler system, of course, does make it a little bit higher on the safety point for sure. It is a brick building on the outside, but the roof structure is wooden, so it is safer, but it is still not the best as far as like the heat sensitivity goes. It is an older building, so the wood is stronger. It will take a lot more if it was like a newer building than the wood that we get today to kind of cast that fire and spread. But that would be a good point. And just to reiterate as well, Mr. Valdez, who is assisting us with the fire safety system, he says that the NFP again does not require it, but if it's if the AIJ or anything that makes it requires that it can be done.
Instead of having to tie a truck into it, we can have a pump installed, run off a generator. Because we would have generator power up there.
Yeah, the pump, yes, and from according to Mr. Valdez, we need to have like a riser room, and again, after the tests are being done, the pumps will be installed within the building to fire up the system so that we're not waiting for the ambulance in case there is a need for that sprinkler system to go off. If we, just to add to that, like if we do have the cells within the building, those fire suppression systems, they are a little bit more advanced, and they need a little bit more intention to be built, just not because of the water, but also because of the air handling units, because the duct system, it does help with the fire spreading. So once we have, just to put it on, there will be fire safety systems I am working on the Briscoe Animal Resource Center in Uvalde. That is for the cats and dogs shelter. But the safety factors not always come in built in with the HVAC. There's a third party that's coming in to install the fire safety on that, where in case of a fire, it detects at different spaces, like, hey, there's a fire, and it chokes off the air handling system so that the air is not spreading the smoke and the fire, and that does add the cost to it. It's not as huge as the sprinkler system, but we are looking at about somewhere between like $25,000 to $35,000 just for that specific building. It may be different for this one. That's a 9,000 square foot building, but it has like different number of, it has lesser amount of air handling units, and it's much more open concept. So the pricing on this will vary in my thinking. And then, of course, if we have the cells within the building as well, in our understanding, I think we will need like much more checkpoints of security just at the doors. So like the locking systems, the exit systems, the monitoring systems, the cameras and everything. Because if somebody is there, there may be a potential of somebody, coming in there to kind of check on them or things like that. How are we on the deadlines? I know that, are we still the March deadline, Mr. Ward? Is that still moving on for the 911 center?
They want to deliver the equipment, if I understood right, the month of February, which is almost gone.
Yeah.
5 days left. And then they want to begin the pre-wire installation in March. And so they're pushing and wanting to get that done. And we certainly don't want to miss the opportunity because it's of great value to the county. And so we certainly don't want to, what I would describe as, make a decision that would not be in the short term or the long term best interest of the county for housing prisoners. But we do need to come up with a decision quickly as to what we would want to do. I think number one, what we should try to address is should we continue to try to place them inside, or should we go ahead and discuss placing the cells connected to, but only outside of the existing building right now. And I think, Mama, you mentioned that it could take up to 6 months to get jail commission approval.
So that, I haven't had a direct communication with them as yet. From the reading of their books, what they have like about 4 stages of checking the drawings. Each submission, what they have said is that they try to respond within 30 days of that submission. So even if you're spot on, just a critical time, like if they send me something and I immediately send them like the same day, which is not practical, I don't think, is 4 months. So I'm thinking that will take a little bit longer time. That's for sure. I would guess 6 months would be like a good time to estimate just for the planning phase. Like we get approval on the planning phase. In addition to the Texas Commission, of course, once the drawings are finalized, they have to be submitted to a TDLR, Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations representative, who's called as an RAS, a Registered Accessibility Specialist. But we have got I've got a very good relationship with them, that I provide them with the floor plan first, because even before the final drawing, so we know that there's no hiccups as far as their comments on it. So if we do the holding cells inside and we decide, yes, we're gonna do that, I would like to send the floor plan to them and at least get that started on the process. If we say no, We don't want them. I would, send them the floor plan again on the same note, so that we have the IT kind of process going. In my thinking, and please let me know if you think otherwise, there is a way, it is longer, and a little bit more complicated, but what we can do for right now, and I'm just throwing out a possibility, is that we do the holding cells area as a future and leave it all open for right now. So just have that area designated as like, hey, this is our future cells area. We are going to condition it enough so that there's circulation and there's no, we are getting like the fresh air in there. And then get the process going, because it is a good grant that we need the 911 dispatch center kind of moving along. And once that process is moving, I think we will have some time to review our decisions on like, hey, if we want the cells to be inside, outside, what the numbers are. It will buy us some time, and we can move. I would like to say that if we go that route, we can expect every construction process has its own hiccups, but while doing planning and the construction in process, it will give us more hurdles, it will give us more hiccups, just because of the reason that, just because of the nature of the coordination. Because once we have like a good floor plan, I send it to my various consultants, they give their inputs, we all refine on them together, it goes out. So there's like a couple of back and forths, but once the construction is there, it kind of becomes a little bit more hands-on at that time. So we just need to be aware of that. There's nothing that, once we are, understand it, if we have like a little bit, we are going into that process consciously, we can expect those and be less frustrated. Construction always brings in a little bit more of frustrations and everything, but it is doable. It's just which route do we want to go through.
I think the postponement option is the only option, really, unless we decide to put them outside. Because our timeline is dedicated to the 911 system. That's the hard deadline. So that's the only option we have, unless you want to put them totally outside the building. I don't see another option. That's too much money to bypass not taking the 911.
Now, the thing is, if we go with the exterior, it's already plumbed, it's already wired, it's already air conditioned, it's already got the computer hookup, it's already got the cameras. They come in, they set it up 5 days later, it's operational. Versus having to go into the building, hook up the plumbing, hook up the wiring, try to figure out what camera system, get the computers, everything set up. When it comes, it's already ready to go, because
They're up to standards, so they're set to go. I like it.
I think it's a good exterior.
I like it, I'm leaning that way more.
Just doesn't want to be in the building.
We just gotta go inside for more.
If we go the exterior route, we have a lot of space in the back to kind of work with. So then what do we, if you all look at our floor plans, everything that is in the red towards the top side of the page, that is kind of dedicated with the holding cells, of course, the processing or the shakedown area and the jailer and everything. So whichever route we go, we just need to be, again, just reiterating, we need to be, we will be, if we put everything on the outside, of course, then another question kind of comes in, then are we only doing it for 5 people, or since we're putting in that much amount of money, like Mr. Ward said, do we want to, have it bigger and look into the future as well? Just wanted to reiterate the cost on that. The difference in the holding cells and the prison level is vastly different. So just want to be very, very cognizant about that.
Could we start out with 5 and then later on?
they're always expanding, this is where this company built.
And they're just real quick, I'll put them in. They can start out with
30, 60 days, they have another one built and
That's a very good question. I will just throw out from an architectural point of view. So if we are doing anything, and I'm just going to throw random numbers just to put things in perspective. So if we know that we're going to put say 10 rooms in there, and the cost of those 10 rooms is a simple number, $100,000. Right now, if we put like 5 rooms in there, it's not going to be half. It's going to be like, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, and then not to see that. That's a very, very good question again. But the cost is one thing, but we also need to plan for the future if we have enough space for that. What sometimes happens is that there are, again, we just need to be cognizant about that, is that once we increase something in the future, they have different code requirements that may get triggered, that we may not be aware of, which kind of puts us in a bind later on. So if we have to do that, I think the planning should be done to the NF for the future, and just go ahead with the 5, because just for this example, if I tell you like, hey, if you had to do 5 cells for 5 people or less, no sprinkler required. But if we had just one more person, we need the whole building to be sprinkled, just not that area, and then maybe more. Good question.
Like the check said, since it's going to be multi-purpose, we're going to put a sprinkler system in it.
The easiest to do it right now. So I think we just look at put that on hold, get all this, the admin part of it and the public part of it, get all that done with the restrooms and everything, and the sprinkler systems up, and then just frame this out where it's safe and secure and whatnot, air conditioning and everything, but then say, okay, look, in a year or 2 years from now, we say, we could add on back here, but then finish this out back there how we need it, right? And in the meantime, continue to use what we have, but get all the admin moved over there and get the 911, taking advantage of the 911. They're putting in a whole new 911 system and willing to install it. That's what we need. We need to capture that opportunity.
I think so. So just to reiterate, the backside, everything above that kind of a foyer and hallway area, we're kind of calling it for future. I think we will still keep the evidence room.
Yes.
But the gun room and the money room, they will be a part of the jail cell, or do you still want to do the gun room and the money room?
I still do that.
Okay.
But if we see how Operation Lone Star goes in the future, what goes on, if it slows down, that back portion that we're not using, we may be able to turn it into a makeshift small county court. We, magistrate that. If the court system breaks down like an open will, we have court once every 2 months, bring the inmate out, have court boom done.
Okay. So for right now, but call it for future. Call the processing area for future, of course, all that. We will keep the riser and mechanical room, the jailer room will be future. I am going to take all the line work out from that future area, because we are going to put that later on, and go ahead with this. Is that the common consensus?
I think so.
Okay.
So you would even bother, like with the plumbing for the 6 steps, you willing to do that?
Yes, that is correct.
To me, that's why I like to just do it.
So just to coming back to the 4 questions, and now we have like a 5th and 6th added to that. So I'm just going to summarize all those questions. Is there anything else that we need to talk before I summarize those questions? Any questions or comments?
Is there anything that we need to discuss to make sure we're on target for the 911 system grant being installed?
We are.
need to go ahead and, finish the 2,000 square foot area that we ranked up. And not completely finished, but in order for them to be able to install whatever equipment they're going to install in the walls and in the ceiling as well. And so I would think that can be done in a pretty short period of time, but it needs to be in cooperation with your blueprints, in order to not have to duplicate or remove something and change it, which if we can obviate that would be a big help. But I know that and of course the judge can speak more to one committee than I can, because he chairs it. But I know they're getting real anxious, and Judge, you may have an update on that, but I get phone calls, and they want to have an update, status report on where we are, how close we are to being ready for them to install the equipment. They also asked about bringing and storing the equipment on site, and the sheriff had a better idea, I think, in the existing jail where he is, it would probably be a lot more secure there. We've had no problems with security during the construction phase, but there's still, a bench for that I think would be more climate control. And you've got to have different space to store that, Sheriff, don't you? Okay. So these gotten that far along, they want to know where to unload and deliver our equipment to. So it's something we do need to be aware of, so that we, are prepared.
Right. But are we anticipating that to be in the Peterson building? Because it is not conditioned yet. So is that where you are, is the sheriff wanting that to be at? The equipment?
Yeah, we can order about anything yourself. We got back there time, we were sticking in there, climate control.
In the existing.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so, just, I know you have a lot of items on the agenda. We'll just quickly summarize those. So for right now, we will just call that space as, for the cells, we're just going to call that future space. We're not even going to call it future cells, because we don't know if they're going to be on the inside or on the outside. We're just going to call them future space. Time of planning, so now it's more looking like for the now time than the future, because we are moving along with especially with the 911 center. The number of cells, I think that would be, if we do it within, I think we can do like 6, because now it's going to be sprinkled. But again, it's not just the sprinkler system, it will be other things added to that as far as like the building infrastructure goes. But if it's outside, then it will be something else. So this is not a matter for immediate concern. Fire sprinkler system, we are going to go ahead and say yes to that. And I will let Mr. Wallace know that we are a go for that. What I do need at this time would be an understanding of the approval of the systems on to get the fire testing for the pressure testing being done. Who do I need to contact, or to kind of will that be you, Judge, or will that be Mr. Commissioner?
The city.
What's the
on pressure for water. Okay. Know what it is. When that's in the sea, we have to be able to tell you.
Okay, we will get that rolling. The 911 system deadline we talked about, so we will look at that here. Of course, we are working on that central area first. What I will need to do is work with Mr. Valdez and get like the data and the visuals and everything sent to him, so he can start working on it. Since we are on such a short timeline, typically we send it out to whoever we are working for, in this case you, to get an approval. But what we will do in this case, we will send it out to you, still working on it. And if you have any comments, then please let us know. We will kind of change it rather than wait for it. So it's on the constant move. Does that sound like a good plan? Yes. Okay. And the ADA, the TDLR. So I will also, once we have got like a good cleanup of this floor plan, I will send it to you, and I will send it to our ADA specialist to get that approved, so we don't have like the door locations or anything else kind of in a trouble. And the last will be like the jail commissions. So with this meeting, I have the understanding that we are not going to engage with the jail commissions as of right now, because of the reason that we don't know the location of the cells. And once we are of that understanding, we will get into that procedure later on. Just because in case we do end up on that inside, we are expecting a little bit more of a clash and a pull, and just a little bit more of coordination time-wise and possibly skill-wise if those cells happen to be on the inside.
Just as a review on the engineer, Mr. Valdez, who we spoke of, who resides in Valley, he did the electrical design for the new fire station. We have right now contracted with him to provide the mechanical plans, which would include the plumbing. And then we have him with air conditioning and heating, yes, as well. Yes. And then fire suppression, yes, and fire alarm. And is that for everybody's review? Does that kind of encompass what we've contracted with him to provide?
That is correct. So that will be the MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, and the fire suppression or the fire safety. Yes.
Then in addition to that is kind of all with Engineer Valdez, and it's Mr. Dirksen. We contracted with him, and he has shot all the elevations on site to prepare what we described as the final plan for the parking area, the drainage, to get the water off the site as soon as possible.
So yes,
I think he has also done a plan with the building on the engineer plan as far as how it sits in relation to the property. And then the storage units in the back, or sheds, we might call them. All of that's on his plan. I understand it.
That is correct. It's called an ALTA survey, and within that ALTA survey, he has shot the boundaries, the property lines, the roads around it, whatever services they had called in, the 811 services, whatever they had marked in, they got those services in place, the buildings, and the grades. So that is called an ALTA survey. Based off of that ALTA survey, we have the elevations of the deck, where me and Ken will be working together to get our ramps in, and also the parking area design so that it drains well. That's correct.
So all of those are basically approved by the court and are ongoing, and with the completion of the blueprints on your end, then Mr. Valdez will be able to proceed with all of his plans.
That's correct.
For the completion of the building.
Yes, so we will be working parallelly to complete it at the same time. Yes.
How long do you take to get your blueprint?
I'm sorry?
How long do you take to get your blueprint?
So we are towards the end of February. I will try to knock these out before end of March. Of course, I understand like a 911 center that needs to be taken care of to kind of move forward. So we should have enough information in turn to kind of keep that moving. But I would say end of March will be like a good time when I should be able to hand you like a solid set of points. Pending Mr. Valdez's approval. I think I haven't had a chance to talk with him, but I will talk with him and let you know. But I think end of March should be it should be a reasonable timeline. Does that work with y'all?
The other item that we're gonna be, haven't received a quote on is the Motorola, the tower. They were talking about 40-foot tower on site, radio tower. And, Mr. Puente is the subcontractor from Motorola that has been on site several times, and I've met him. He's concerned about, the county is going to pay for part of that installation for the tower. And we do need, obviously, Sheriff, to get your ideas on that. He was talking about something that would be attached to the building, and or if you wanted to go higher, then you would need a tower that would be located on the property but further away from the building. But I had not got a quote for him, but they're going to look at the county, so that would be a contract over and above what we're talking about right now in the way of professional services. So as soon as I hear anything from him, I'll make sure to get the information to everyone so we can consider it, put it on an agenda in the future. But be thinking about that as well. That goes along with the 911 radio installation.
Alright, thank you all for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Are you going to stay for a little while? Or you need to go?
No, sir. How can I help?
Well, the other item that we had talked about is your compensation. And I don't know if you're prepared to talk about that today.
I just have hours that I have spent on it for the changing and just trying to get the information. So initially what I was hired to do was to just have the location of the sales place in there and just to kind of arrange it and have a division. But the things that we were trying to nail and change the locations a couple of times, I had the electrical layout for Mr. Valdez. That would of course change again for the locations of those items, and trying to understand the different requirements. I have about over 40 hours at least that I can figure out from January and February itself.
So you got me $233. Oh.
Yes.
So what we're talking about is that his contract amount is $18,000 to prepare the blueprints for the building without the temporary holding cells. And so you're making reference to the time you put in over and above what you had planned to provide in the $18,000 contract.
Yes, sir.
For preparing blueprints. So what we would be, if we go forward on the basis of the decision report today, and that would be to complete the building as it is with the plans we're looking at now. Where do we stand with you? And in the 40 hours, is that would that be included? Because we need to have an idea as well of what you're going to anticipate receiving in the way of compensation.
I understand that. I know that we are kind of needing this service and facilities. I would be, I don't have nickel and dime for everything and want to be very supportive and be helpful in any way that's possible. I understand that there is a budget constraint on the things that we do here. If we move forward with the holding cells, I can start collecting those hours from now on and include all of this within my services if that helps.
But as of right now, we only do 40 hours possibly on working over and above what you anticipated in the contract, the $18,000.
Yes.
And can you give us, if you can't today, can you give us what that would be, the total amount
If you want to times it at 1.5.
125.
Yes, sir. If you want, I can include that. Like I said, I'd be happy to do that, keep things moving. And once we go ahead with the cells, I am anticipating a lot more details for the cells within the building, coordination with different people, and coordination with a lot of other trades, for sure. I think even with this or without this, just to put it in perspective, I think there will be a lot more coordination needed, just time-wise, because, and I'm not talking about my time, I'm talking about our time here, that we need to be cognizant of, dealing with different people. Once we go to the different cells, typically, I've also seen looking for different options. So, we have a fair idea, but once we kind of go through some areas, they do need, let's say, a couple of different bids or things like that.
Go ahead, any other question? If you don't on this subject, how do we look on the swim park, that house?
So I'm working on those drawings, and I was gonna go and do like a measurement on the existing drawings. So that is not. I don't think that's I'm held for decision on that. We just need to something to work on those.
With the plans we were able to locate, did they pretty much correspond as the building?
And that's what I'm gonna go check.
You're gonna check it there, or?
If possible. Will I have access after this meeting? Okay. Yeah. Or I can, like we discussed, the candy, I think it was better to kind of come on Wednesday. So if you want to come back, if you want me to come back, I can do that.
I think we'd like to move that along and get that out of the way so we can get paid. So, if we could, I know you've got a lot on your plate, but if we could get that one as well, we could more or less get that one out of the way and get our grant money in, and sort of, whatever you had time to do, we appreciate it. I'm going to tell them that one too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. I appreciate y'all's time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good discussion there. We'll continue, we'll proceed. Item 5 this morning is approve the minutes from February 10th.
What's the code for that? What's the code for that? What's the code for this? You can go, so I can go there now. Thank you. Thank you all.
We have a 5-minute judge.
Yes, this is the minutes. So let's approve these minutes and then we'll take a break. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of February 6th. So moved by Commissioner McCullough, second by Commissioner Sperry. Request for budget adjustment or review and amend 24-25 budget is needed. There are none. Approved bills and disbursements for the teaching center. There are none. And examine and pay the bills as presented. We have it this morning. Any other discussion, questions about the bills? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, that being said, we will call it 10:55. We're going to recess. We'll go to executive session, discuss items on the agenda today, 4 in and 4 in. Personnel matters, closed session, pursuant to 554 personnel matters, personnel matters, executive session, discuss business consultation with attorney, 55107, 55125, this code regarding this agenda as well. So with that being said, we'll recess and start executive session. Give everybody about 5 minutes break on executive session. Thank you.